Okay, guys, there was Clive, my non-existent imaginary dog, who I have decided was going to introduce every episode of Leverton on Books. This is Leverton on Books episode 2. I'm talking today about Elvish, from Elvish to Klingon, exploring invented languages. So I just got a membership, not a membership, I just found this great site. The site is called bookdepository.com, and you can buy any book you want and they will send it to anywhere in the world. Mailing is free of charge. They're not paying me for this announcement. I think that this is just a great site. You can get what you want. If you are in North America or in Great Britain or Australia, I'm sure you can just go to a bookstore and find great books. But if you're like me and you live in a non English speaking country, bookdepository.com is great because they have prices like in your country and they will send it to you. So this is my first selection. And I was kind of surprised and a little bit disappointed because basically it's a history of constructed languages, and I'll just read you what they talk about. They talk about international auxiliary languages like Esperanto. They talk about invented languages for different fictional worlds like Newspeak in 1984 and Nadsat in A Clockwork Orange. They talk about Tolkien's invented languages. They talk about Klingon. They talk about language in games. They talk about um, literary, more about poetry, invented languages, and then they talk about revitalized languages such as modern Hebrew or Maori. Um, so, why was I disappointed? I was disappointed because I felt that it could have been so interesting. They could have I read the book and I know a lot about these things, but I feel like I don't know everything. And when if I had read a book and if I read this book and if I had learned something new, then I'd be able to recommend it to you. You don't learn anything. Nothing new is in this book. And that's one thing. And the other thing is that the book is put together in a sort of well, it is an academic style, so that might not be very palatable, palatable. I think I pronounced that right. Palatable for some people. So it was quite a shock after years of reading fiction and then going back to reading academic writing. But I mean, I read it in like, I don't know, a day or two. So maybe that's part of my disappointment too. It was very expensive and I didn't get much enjoyment out of it. But basically, and it's like by this guy who wrote Slayer Slang, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer lexicon. So I thought that it would be, fun. Look at this thing, but it's not fun. It's not informative and it's not fun. So if you are thinking about picking up From Elfish to Klingon, exploring invented languages, I guess if you don't know anything about the topic, you could pick up the book and it will teach you something about the topic. But you're going to be disappointed because there's lots of other things lumped in there with the Elvish and the Klingon, and you could find books on Tolkien's, language. You could find books on, science fiction languages like Klingon, and you could probably find better books on Esperanto and other things that are in the book. So I am not going to recommend this book. Sorry, Michael Adams. Don't get my recommendation. Alright, this has been Leverton on Books, and this is my imaginary dog, Clive.